What's up, everybody? Welcome here to Pop Culture Philosophers. I am Rockin Robbie Billups. Tonight, we are going to be talking about She-Hulk Episode 3, Season 1, presumably. You don't want to assume or presume anything, because if you presume, you make a wait, what? That doesn't make sense. Anyway, tonight, we're going to be talking about She-Hulk Episode 3, The People versus Emil Blonsky. And joining us tonight, we got Jelani. What's up, buddy?
Yada 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 yada. I'm good, man. Good to be here. Good to be here on our lovely trek through the thing that is now the MCU.
Yes. Well, we'll get to that. Anyway, also tonight, joining us again is Steph. What is up, my man?
Station.
Oh yeah.
Missed you fellas last week.
Yeah. Oh, and yeah, great shirt, Jelani. Got the Horny Time Horseshoe shirt.
I like it.
It started to trickle out to people that bought it, so that's awesome.
Good.
The man that we have to thank for that design is Manny's Different Perspectives.
Oh shit! Oh man!
Oh
shit.
Jesus!
Caught him on the way.
Manny the Mystic. I like that.
How long were you fucking crouched over there waiting?
Oh, dude, and I still couldn't get my timing right. I still walked right through that effect. Station, dude, I'm excited. I'm excited for another amazing edition of Mansplaining by Pop Culture Philosophers.
Yes,
I'm pumped.
That's what we do, son.
Mansplaining She-Hulk. Okay, there's Fable. What's up, Fable? How you doing?
Station. I tell you, best graphics in the business, guys.
Yeah, no kidding. No kidding. And really came through in the clutch when we realized Hulk was not in this episode. Because those thumbnails were made 3 weeks ago. Yeah. And we were like, fuck. We thought they'd pace it out differently, I guess. Okay, here we go. We also have, rounding out the panel tonight, Brooks. What is up, Brooks?
Hey.
Yes. All right, before we
bring that energy. I always got to bring that energy.
Yeah. So I'm going to go ahead and get the elephant out of the room before we even get into She-Hulk tonight. There, of course, will be spoilers talked about tonight. We did miss the fact that there was the lead-in to what?
Sorry.
We were missing. I can't believe Jelani's like, I'm going to be twerking tonight. That's my bit tonight. I'm going to be twerking.
That's all I'm doing.
We did miss the bit last week where they briefly mentioned that Wolverine exists in the MCU because there was a bit on the side where they mentioned a guy with claws in a barroom brawl. Okay. Aside from that, I want to get the other elephant out of the room. Horror Fest is coming soon. We are 2 sleeps away from the beginning of Horror Fest, which is Saturday night on Dylan's Horror Show with Life Force. And then the festivities continue Monday night when PCP Movie Night returns with the entire Scream franchise. I'm really pumped for that. All right. She-Hulk Episode 3, full spoilers, overall thoughts, though, first. Some trucks backing up. So whoever needs to check some delivery. Anyway, now, overall thoughts. This is my favorite episode so far. I want to be honest. I liked this episode. I thought that they finally got something of a rhythm going, okay? That actually had, and the show was so proud of it, they had to point it out with the fourth wall break, but they finally had an A story and a B story and tied it all together in a nice kind of like 30-minute lawyer sitcom comedy kind of thing. Still, some of the pacing of the jokes is off to me. The CG is way the fuck off. But for the most part, I really like this episode. Now, aided by some really great performances. We have Wong and we have Blonsky in this episode, which really, really went a long way. Tatiana Maslany, I think, is solidifying as Jennifer. She-Hulk, though, it's still just, I'm not hung up on the CG. But there are moments where I'm like, I cannot believe that went through. But all that coming aside, I thought this episode was a really vast improvement. I think it's finding its legs. It's not perfect. It's still somewhat good, though. Like, I like this episode. This has been my favorite so far. So I'm excited to see where we're going to go. But overall, I enjoyed this episode. I will say that. I enjoyed this episode as much as I enjoyed some of the worst episodes of Miss Marvel. I don't know. We'll get into all of that later. Jelani, overall, what'd you think about this episode?
It is the best of the three so far. So I will agree with you there. The CG is horrendous. I'm sorry, I can't deal with it. It's like you're Disney. You should have worked on this a year ago. This should have been like maybe 2 or 3 years ago. You should have just gone and like made a plan after Endgame and just made your shows and then work on the CG and get all your stuff together. It's a serviceable episode. Finally, we get a procedural, and I figured it out what it was. I looked at the writers. The first 2 episodes were written by Michelle Lau. And
Jessica Gal? Is that what?
Yeah, or Jessica Gal. I don't know her name. All I know is she wrote the first 2.
That's way different than Michelle Yao. Like, I want to get this right. Like, okay, hold on. I gotta keep going, Jelani. I'm just look this up.
Shit. But the thing is,
Jessica Gal. Come on, Jessica Gal.
Sure, Jessica Gal. Thank you. But the reason that they weren't good is she was the head writer for these. This episode was written by 2 other people. It was like sisters or something, and they apparently have the
Francesca Galis and Jacqueline Galis.
There you go. I like them because they kind of know what they're doing. They made a procedural. They actually made what the show I thought the show was gonna be. And they did a fairly decent job. I liked Emil Blonsky. I liked Wong. I love Wong. I love the fact that the parole board wasn't expecting him to change into the abomination. That was a great scene for me.
They were acting like goddamn Malbolgia showed up.
The funniest part about that was they were playing the video a few minutes before that. Right. And it was just like, you did it before, and now you're scared that you see him in person. I'm like, you're in a room, a very secure room. So it was a decent episode. The ending is
yeah, we'll get to that.
Let's get to that. But I'm right now, it's okay. It was okay. I kind of liked this episode. I liked it a lot. It felt entertaining. I finally felt entertained in some form. Finally, after 3 years.
Are you not entertained?
Yeah, like Manny, real quick, can you pull up something of Maximus from Gladiator? Are you not entertained?
I'm on it. I'm
all right.
Oh yeah,
we're working on
finally, John Byrne did do it better, and I do want that shirt.
Yeah, we're still waiting on that design, Manny. Anyway, speaking of designs,
Mike said he had an idea, and I didn't want to like steal his thunder. Mike, arguably, if you've seen Jelani's logo on my channel, Mike is a way better designer than I am.
Yeah, but Mike's not going to do it, bro. So trust me.
He's not going to do it.
Send me
to it, Manny.
You already had it. You already nailed it, bro.
All right.
It's on him. The opus is on is it Otis? Anyway, it's on him now. Anyway, we're moving on. Steph, what did you think about this episode overall? Plus, you weren't here last week, so maybe some thoughts on last week's episode.
Last week, I overall I gave it like a 3.5. It was a big drop for me from the first episode. I felt like they're trying to find the formula that they nailed down in this episode. This week was a way bigger of an improvement to me. But this week's episode I think it was fun. I think they're finding the momentum or formula that they're gonna execute throughout the rest of the show. So you had some cool. There was one cool appearance. I'm sure we'll get into later for the story. A certain mystical crew. And then, but yeah, the CGI, I try not to pick at it, but I found myself thinking in this episode, I was like, I think the problem is that she doesn't have, as the She-Hulk, she does not look like the actress. How you can see Ruffalo in the Hulk, she's just like a bland green face. Maybe they'll work on that, but I think that's probably that's a big problem. But not glaring, I think but overall it was very entertaining. Wong and Blonsky, welcome additions, like you guys said. I thought it was damn, it's crazy. Tim Rothman, right? Or is it Tom? Tim? It's
Roth.
Been like 14.
Eli.
Yeah, Roth.
Tim?
It's been 14
Roth.
years since he was in the role, and they got him to come back. So that was pretty cool. And they're finally acknowledging the Hulk movie. So
yes, it's nice. I mean, I think they've acknowledged. What's crazy is that they more so acknowledged a like a deleted scene from Hulk. You know, when he talks about the bullet scene or
The
whatever
bullet.
before, but now, yeah, I mean, we always knew that was full on phase 1, even though it probably wasn't in that phase 1 box set.
Right.
You know, it is one thing to be like, they finally figured it out. That's nice. There's only 6 more episodes and we'll see what happens. There's not like an overall arc happening so far, but I don't think that's the point of this show. Right. And when you look at it structurally as a season, we'll see where it progresses. First episode's the origin. Second episode, setting up the new job. There we go, Manny. There we go.
Yeah. Are you not?
Oh, you not entertained? I can't play the audio through StreamYard, but
that's the one thing that StreamYard needs to work on with a virtual camera, virtual audio or something. I don't know.
You know, some guys like Chip Getler, his works. Mine will not.
Mine doesn't work either. I want to. Okay, anyway, but so this should be the episode where it kind of like evens out a little bit, right? One more thing before we really get into it. The Wrecking Crew cracks me the fuck up because that one dude's just like, they're like Power Ranger villains or some shit. Like, I don't know. It's like they feel like they're showing up to Ninja Turtles 3. Like, I don't know what's going on, man. But like, at one point I was like, oh, what is this? They made the Wrecking Crew a joke. And then I was like, bro, like, really, Robbie, what do you think? Like, are you really that hardcore into the Wrecking Crew?
They're Thor villains.
Yeah,
whatever.
I love it. It's like, what did you would you steal that from a Asgardian construction worker? And he's like,
oh yeah.
Dude, they look like they're ready to go, man. Like they're gonna be like the villains in Surf Ninjas or some shit. Like, I don't know.
Dude.
By the way, Surf Ninjas PCP movie night 2023. Y'all don't even know. It's great. Manny, what'd you think about this episode overall? Speaking of Surf Ninjas.
I didn't think it was bad at all. I thought that there was some holdover. I mean, it's got all of the charm of the original 2 episodes. I just feel like I've settled into a good suspension of disbelief, which was necessary because when that chick is walking through now I'm gonna get it canceled again. When She-Hulk is walking through the law firm, it's oh my gosh, man. I'm not even Jelani, I'm not even gonna fucking attempt pronouns, dude. I'm staying away from
They them, damn it.
The character is, we talked about it last week. No wait, just waitlist, walking through like fucking like it's supposed to be. Like, this is Chip and Dale and they're in the fucking Uncanny Valley area. It was just so bad. It was so bad. But all in all, I smiled, I chuckled, I did not hate it. So for that reason,
I'm gonna say it was okay. It was an alright episode.
I understood like half of what you fucking said, bro. I was like, I was laughing, and then I was like, wait, what's going on? All right, but you thought it was okay. All right,
it was okay.
CG still bad.
Yes.
All right. Speaking of bad CG, Fable, man, you gotta do something better about them CG comic boxes behind you, man. They look so fake. They don't have volume, right? There's no weight to them. Anyway, you got to see if you can work out the physics on them twerking. Maybe that's going to distract you long enough where. Anyway, oh god damn, Jelani. Hey, what did you think overall?
Sorry. I keep doing that.
I thought it was an overall improvement, man, on everything, man. Like you guys said, I thought the focus was better. You know, we knew what this was now. It seems like a comedy, courtroom comedy thing. The acting was a lot better. The jokes landed a lot better. Even like the woke women stuff landed better. You know, like last week I had a complaint about the guys in the boardroom doing the wacky inflatable tube man stuff. And I was like, oh my God, it's ridiculous. But I felt like I should have laughed, right? But this time I did. When the guy was on the phone, or I don't know, it was the news thing, and he was like, oh yeah, I like her, but why don't they get their own Hulk or something like that, or get their own something? So I thought
she's
that was
a girl. She can't be a superhero. She's a girl. I'm out of it.
Yeah. Yeah. So I thought it was overall better. The only thing that's not better is the CG. CG still pretty awful.
I think it's getting worse, man. We'll get into it, but I think it's getting worse.
But overall better. Yeah,
They put everything they had in that first fucking episode, man. Because I mean, we'll get to it. But speaking of always has solid CG because he understands how to blend his practical effects, lack of lighting, and CG. It's Brooks. Brooks, what did you think about this episode overall? And so far, out of all of us, seems like you've kind of enjoyed this more than the rest of us, excluding Steph. Steph and you have been enjoying it for the most part. But what did you think about this episode, Brooks?
Well, I like it. I'm like you. I think it's probably the best so far. It feels like it's finally hitting its stride with the them actually doing like basically a court episode of guy goes to court. He does the case, and then it feels like a lawyer show finally. And I thought it was pretty funny. It's probably the funniest one yet. And I was way too excited to see the Wrecking Crew, dude. Like they showed up and I'm like all of a sudden they're all holding these. I'm like, wait, is that the Wrecking Crew? Ah! Yeah, I thought this. I really like this one. I hope they can keep up the momentum. And as far as CG wise, I still really can't tell much of the difference.
Jesus, Brooks,
I'll just take y'all's word for it that it's, I guess, worse.
Go play the fucking Dead or Alive volleyball game and tell me that that's not better than fucking the twerking scene. Anyway, we'll get to that. Hold on.
Okay,
no, but
I gotta go find this Dead or Alive volleyball game.
What was that? A hidden bit of a part? Anyway, I had a point I was gonna say. I mean, I do think it's evening it out. It's trying to figure out what it's going to do, and I'm excited to see where it develops from this point forward. And so let's go ahead and get into the performances, because I do think that this episode, I'm not 100% sold yet on the mediocrity of She-Hulk yet, right? Over just being not so good, because so much of this episode for me was about Tim Roth and is it Benedict Wong?
Yeah,
that
Benedict
plays Wong?
Wong.
Yeah.
He plays Wong.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Oh my God, dude. When he shows up to court and he does this whole thing, and I just loved his matter-of-factness about shit. But at the end, where he's like, you realize, sir, that you just admitted to committing a felony. He's like, I really have to go right now.
I gotta go.
No, they're like, Mr. He's like, I'm Wong, Sorcerer Supreme, Mr. of the Mastercards. You realize you just admitted to aiding and abetting a prisoner.
Everybody's talking about his LinkedIn profile where he worked at a Target, then he was a librarian, and I love the bit where the chick's like, I got him with a thirst trap. It was a picture of me with a bunch of books.
With a bunch of books.
I love that fucking shit. But I like the performances. I thought the douchebag DA guy, ADA, my bad, because I just read a Brad Meltzer book, and if you're not the DA, you're an ADA. Even though everybody calls him DAs, attorney. He's an assistant district attorney. Yes, an ADA. Anyway, thank you, Brad Meltzer, for that. Anyway, so. Yeah, I like that music. What was I going to say? I love Wong in this episode. It's funny because he's kind of deadpan with it, and I like that delivery. I love the mystery. My favorite we'll get to the script, but my favorite bit with him is when he comes to explain the shit. And y'all know me, I'm a fucking Bloodsport fan. When he's like, have you ever heard, do you know what a kumite is?
I should have heard. That's like he said that. It should have been like,
I was like, oh my God, that's so cool. I can't wait until they eventually do the show where Wong and Abomination and a few other Marvel characters are caught in some kind of like underground fighting rink. And it's like their version of Mortal Kombat or the most recent Robin series.
Thunderbolts after Busiek left.
It could be Thunderbolt. Yeah. Oh, yes. Yeah. Or after Nicieza left.
Yeah.
It was music and then Nicieza. And then, it went to that whole random. They were like, it was such a random run of Thunderbolts. Anyway, some of this may set up Thunderbolts. We'll get to it. But Wong and Blonsky in this episode crack me the fuck up, man. Like their performances are so good, but I do think Maslany is really settling into the role, and it's cool. The CG performance, we'll save that for later. But overall, what'd you think about the performances, Jelani? Because I thought this was the best across the board, including the dickbag ADA.
Oh,
and speaking of dickbag ADAs, Jelani, why don't you tell us real quick?
Actually, he's still my favorite character. Like from last week, to this week, I'm like, oh, he's progressing. I hope he's in every episode.
Yeah,
He's
I
in New
hope
York
he's in
10. Remember that.
He is,
And
he is
LA
like,
11.
right.
he is
In LA
he
11.
is awesome. Just oh my gosh, his level, like how they wrote him, and his level of misogyny is so it's like gorgeous, and like even when he's like watching her shapeshift, he's going like, ew. Like it's like I can't believe that was it, and I can't believe he actually thought that was making the Stallion, paying for a Prasad bill and all that stuff. Oh my god, like he delivers the best line of the show so far. There's a hot chick over there. I want to talk to it. It is still the best line of the show. So I'm still sticking with the homeboy. I don't even know his name. Is it Dennis or something? I don't know what his name is. But God, he's just so great. I don't know.
And he's from the comics. He's from like the 70s run, I believe, where he was like a rival to Jennifer. Like, right? Yeah.
So he's a character. That's why I'm still like on his side. I'm like, well, not on the side because he's a terrible person. But what I'm saying is, I just love his character. I just love how slimy he is.
I feel Jennifer's going to have to team up with him by the end of the season
to do something
to let everybody understand how evil the influencer Titania actually is. But I hope it doesn't. I hope that's not where we're going. But anyway,
I wanted to get something real quick. There was I need to get a no prize, and it's an obvious no prize. That when Shang-Chi in the Shang-Chi thing, the Abomination fight, and the end credit scene of that movie, it has Bruce Banner with the sling on his arm, and he's still talking, and that's like way after the Shang-Chi thing. I mean, it's during this period. So during this period, he was hurt, or his arm was still messed up.
He wasn't healed yet, is what you're saying.
It hadn't healed yet, and now it's healed before the events of Shang-Chi. So I need my no prize.
Even worse, he's not even on the planet.
We don't know when the end credit scene takes place exactly, though.
Yeah, the end credit scene may be a prequel to the movie. Also, in order to truly win a no prize, you have to explain the discontinuity.
Yes.
You have to explain how it works.
That Bruce Banner is a fucking scroll.
Bruce Banner was hurt during the events of Shang-Chi. He was perfectly fine after the accident with Jennifer.
Yes, you have brought up a discrepancy in continuity, but you have to solve it to get the no prize. And I think Manny's got the no prize. Let's hear it.
That Bruce Banner is a scroll. They are the ones responsible for getting him off the world because of Secret Invasion, right? They don't want to have to deal with the Hulk. He's too powerful of a character.
Okay, I'm watching.
Just faking his injury.
But we don't know exactly when.
So Jelani really liked Dennis. Is that the name of the dude?
I think this is Dennis.
Okay, let's just call him D.
Yeah, shoot some Red Bulls.
Hope somebody says D. What? Anyway, Steph, what do you think about the performances?
Like you guys said, best yet across the board, from Dennis the Menace to Wong and Blonsky. Even the main, like you guys said, Jennifer Walters. I forget the actress's name. Tatiana Maslany. Just, it was just great. Everyone really, even the side bit characters, the lawyer of Dennis, I think everyone was fantastic in this episode. It was
everybody did a good job.
The pooping guy. That's the pooping guy.
Yeah.
He was really good in that episode. It
was surprisingly a good episode.
Yeah,
very surprising. Like I was ready to discount this and like get my money back for Disney Plus.
Yeah.
If
last week was a drop, big drop for me too.
Speaking of a drop, and I want my money back, Manny. What did you think about the performances in this episode?
Fuck, man. MVP of this show is still fucking Matt Murdock, because we're all just waiting for fucking Daredevil to show up. Like, everyone's keeping their Disney Plus another week. Like, God damn it.
So next week is when Daredevil shows up.
And dude's going to show up in a Hawaiian shirt and Robbie's going to go on a fucking rant. It's going to be a thing.
That's why I'm saving my tirades. That's why I'm saving it.
But Pug, I thought Pug was a damn good character. The man baby in me was like, see, there is a good one amongst us. You know what I mean? But yeah, Pug, he did a damn good job. I'm gonna go with Pug.
That scene in where the shapeshifter comes out of his office and he's like, I love harassing women at work, and he's like, that's not true. He like,
That's not true.
He's like,
You guys don't know me.
You guys know me. Yeah, that was funny.
That was funny. Speaking of actually funny, Fable's actually funny. If you ever pay attention. Fable, what'd you think about the performances?
Everything was improved, man. Everything was improved. Jennifer, I felt like she was way more assertive in this episode than ever. Like she felt like she knew what she was doing, and it felt like her boss, because her boss is an asshole, and he totally looked like he had total faith in her. Like whatever you're doing, even when they were twerking, right? Yeah. When they were twerking, he looked at it. He was like, "Okay, as long as you win cases, I don't give a shit," So he walked away. I thought. Because I had some question if Maslany was a good She-Hulk, if she was doing a good job. And now this episode, I know it's not her. Definitely the writing. The jokes were landing way more. And like Steph said, the side characters, I loved all of them. I even liked the lawyer of the elf lady from Asgard.
Oh, with the glasses? She reminded me of the costume designer from The Incredibles a little bit.
Right.
No capes!
So and actually, everybody's talking about Blonsky and Wong, but I actually, like you said, the lawyer and the his client, the lady, the elf lady, the judge. I thought those scenes were hilarious. Yeah. All around improved performances. Again, CG kind of breaks immersion sometimes. And it throws you off a little bit, lip syncing, stuff like that. But performances was great.
All right. What about you?
What did that judge say? He was like,
go ahead. What was that stuff?
Oh, I know. What did the judge say? He was like, that Mrs. Such and Such, the Asgard speech, the Thor speeches don't work down here.
Not admissible in court.
Right. Yeah.
But somebody pointed out on YouTube that was actually Odin and Heimdall that said that, never Thor. So.
I'm of the mindset that it was adapted to either a comic book or film in the MCU universe that people have seen.
Oh shit! And it was called Stab
to Thor. Yeah, quite possibly.
The best is when it was like they were role playing. He was like, "That's gross."
Yes. Speaking of role playing, Brooks, what about you, man? What did you think about the performances in this episode?
I thought they were all good. I liked. I think everybody's finally, coming into their roles, really, and they're getting a little more to work with, getting, filling out the characters a little bit.
Oops.
There was one scene that made me laugh in particular, not necessarily because of the joke itself, but just the way it was delivered, where it's one of her fourth wall breaks where Jen just kind of pops in the corner of the screen, like a tiny version of her, and says something. That made me laugh.
She's like, "Oh, look at us, connecting the A and B plots."
Yeah,
I like that.
I thought
that was good.
Like I remember when they mentioned the shape-shifting elf called Megan. I thought, are they teasing like that she's Excalibur. Like Megan from Excalibur?
Right.
I was like, no, I don't think it is.
This is motherfucker the only guy getting excited. Like they're teasing Megan from Excalibur.
Yeah.
God, I'm so excited.
Captain Brain can't be too far behind if that's
we
the case.
Get goddamn Megan before we get Night Thrasher, I'm going to be so goddamn pissed, man. I'm just going to tell you that, okay? Somebody out there can play Dwayne right now, and I know it. Like, come on, let's do it. What's the dude from fucking
Captain Britain?
Ah, shit, we already got dude from Get Out in fucking the MCU, right? Because he was what's his name in Black Panther.
He's the right guy.
The cape
Michael B. Jordan would have been the perfect Night Thrasher. Let's just be honest, okay? Anyway, where were we at? Okay, story, yeah, right. Think about it. With the skateboard too, but they would never do Night Thrasher right because they wouldn't give him the skateboard. The only way to do Night Thrasher right is it got to be set in like 1990. Anyway, moving on.
The MCU would never set a film in the 90s. Never. All right.
New Warriors is set before fucking Captain Marvel. Like, wouldn't that be weird? That'd be a weird stretch, man. All right. So, story. I think the story was better here. Like I said, they had the Blonsky trial going. That was fun. And they had the Dennis story going. And to me, that was fun. And they connected it. Oh, yeah, go MCU. You connected it, but you also had to go stretch and make sure that everybody knew that you connected it. And I was watching heavy spoilers. And he was like, since WandaVision, this is the first time since WandaVision that the MCU has connected an A plot to a B plot in a TV series. So like let's not like pat ourselves on the back too hard. So I really did like this episode. I thought it was starting to streamline itself a little bit better, but some of it's still just in the pacing. So it's got to be in the style of it too. Story and style, part of the whole same thing, right? But like story was fine. Dialogue was fine, but there's something in the pacing of those dialogue, like those lines. Like somebody mentioned earlier, Ally McBeal did it better, which should be the shirt after the John Byrne did it better shirt, right? But like there's a poppiness to that. Like I wasn't into Ally McBeal, but I remember watching it. That was a show that had RDJ on it, right? Mm-hmm. And you don't get him on those shows and not have that kind of like poppy Aaron Sorkin kind of thing, right? And I'm not saying Aaron Sorkin should write a She-Hulk show, not in the dialogue. That'd be terrible. But you need that kind of thing, and not like a caricature of it, which kind of becomes like that what Bendis and Whedon dialogue is, right? Which is like kind of like a caricature of that.
Jokey.
Yeah. So it needs to have something more like it needs to have a quicker pace to me. But this episode structurally was better. I thought the writing was better. It was more fun.
Yeah.
However, when you want to do a modern pop star cameo, I get it. You're always going to be in trouble of dating your show, right? You know what I'm saying? I don't know. I did not know until this week who the fuck Megan. I'd never heard Megan Thee Stallion. I don't have no idea.
I might get in trouble. She's like a new Nicki Minaj.
I never heard of The Weeknd until he did the Super Bowl. So like I'm like way out there.
The Weeknd's a different story.
I'm not saying it's a bad pick. Okay. All I'm saying is the twerking thing at the end.
Did we need it? Not at all.
Oh boy, there we go.
Anytime Jelani hears twerk, he's got it.
But I'm going to tell you what, man. That scene to me dated it.
Save it for OnlyFans.
That scene dated it to me to 5 to 8 years ago. Right? That like
absolutely,
that post dated that motherfucker. Do you know what I'm saying? Like that's a post dated check of a I don't know, man, but that to me, like I thought, like, oh man, they're getting it together. This story, I liked it, the performance, and then he got to that, and I was like, oh man, I don't know.
Why couldn't it have been Dazzler or something? You know, like a reimagining of Dazzler. So, you know, she could have been established, but no one knows she's a mutant yet. Like that's like part of her gimmick. Like she's been, you know.
Yeah, you could have done something like. I don't mind that it was Megan Thee Stallion, but I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah.
It dated it bad. It post dated that shit with the twerking thing. Like I don't think that's as relevant as they. I don't know. It almost felt like we were.
They were trying to be hip and cool.
It almost like felt like if John Byrne was doing it today, he would probably write that twerking scene. So maybe they did it, but I don't know. Jelani, what'd you think about the story, the style of it, you know, all that stuff?
This show's still trash to me, but it's like this one was an improvement on that trash. Like you've polished that turd, baby. You shined it. You've made
it can look like gold.
Yeah, it looks like gold, but it still smells like shit. It's just like I have no clue, like what in the world we're trying to do with the story.
Yeah,
I like.
Let him know, Peter Parker.
Yeah.
That's cold as shit, Peter Parker's pants.
Yeah.
Let him know.
That's cold as shit.
Yep.
Oh, is she on that song?
Yeah.
Is she on that?
Yeah.
I just didn't know. I've seen that video. I've seen that video. Trust me. Bro.
Her and Cardi B, the new Nicki Minaj, Lil Kim's. You know.
I've had Cardi B. I've had Cardi B's potato chips. Like, they're really good.
Rap snacks.
Yeah, they're really good. I'm just gonna say that.
Rap snacks. But I mean, it did a good A and B plot. This is what the show should have been from day one. Like if you're gonna, they could have snuck in snippets of the origin, like we said.
We were talking about last week, and like this is the one time a show should copy Arrow.
Yeah,
is like maybe like show the origin and flashbacks throughout the course, right? Maybe
throughout the course of it. And actually do it. I mean, it looks like it's supposed to be well structured. I think it's okay. It's structured the way I thought it was going to be day one. I thought, honestly, the first episode was going to be she's in court. She's about to do some kind of trial. If they had done Emil Blonsky first, I really would have appreciated that more for some reason. Just because he's such a high-profile case for the first thing that you do, sprinkle in a little origin story and be okay. And it's procedural. It's 30 minutes. You get in there, you tell your little story in the courtroom, and you get out. That's what this story was. They did really well till the end, where like CGI She-Hulk twerking is like, to me, it almost kills the MCU. We're almost done here.
It's like
we're too.
It's not necessary at all.
When they put that shit together, where they were like, all those people on YouTube saying that the MCU has lost it, this will fucking show them.
This is it.
You know what? I don't know.
It's almost over, kids. Yeah.
All right. All right, Julian.
Game, it's almost over, and we're. I can't believe Kevin Feige didn't have a plan after Endgame. It really hurts me because I'm like, dude, like you're making all this.
I want y'all to remember him saying this when we start reviewing shit like Kang Dynasty
X-Men
and Secret Wars.
No.
Yeah.
Oh, it better be good. Listen, I better get a Doom. I better get my X-Men.
You have to. Well, let's look at the timeline though. He got like the properties back to like Fantastic Four and X-Men as he's wrapping up this first saga of Marvel. So he had to like really incorporate all those characters into the overall structure he might have already had planned years beforehand.
Phase 4 is throwing
Miss Marvel as a mutant.
Here's what I'm saying: is Phase 4 is throwing the spaghetti noodles to the wall to see if it's done. You're gonna see what sticks, and then we go like right now. There are rumors saying that they're going to act like Eternals never happened. Like there are rumors saying.
I don't believe that. I don't believe it because people keep talking about
that's another multiverse.
Everyone's discrepancy is the Celestial out of the ocean, but we don't know exactly when. So like for all we know, Eternals could be the last movie in the timeline of Phase 4, just because we're seeing Wakanda forever.
It's happened before this episode, before She-Hulk, because in the last episode, underneath the Wolverine thing, they were talking about the giant statue in the ocean explained or something like that. So they have referenced it. Yeah. They have referenced it in like just a little headline,
like Wolverine
headline. Like that.
Okay. Yes. It was in the same. It was in the same thing, actually. Yeah.
I'm just. What they choose to go with is going to be what hits. I'm sure. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know. Steph, what do you think about the story and the structure, the style of this episode?
Making sure I'm not lagging. Oh, Robbie is just okay. I thought it was great. Like you guys said, it was the best one. Second one was a big drop for me. I enjoyed this. I enjoyed the first episode. I was one of the people who enjoyed it. But this was a improvement to me over the first episode. I like the whole.
Oh man.
The bit.
Am I still here?
Oh, there he is. Yeah.
All right. But breaking the fourth wall gave me like Malcolm in the Middle vibes, which I thought was cool because I loved Malcolm in the Middle. I look forward to more of that. At first, I was kind of like hesitant, even though I know that's kind of like part of her shtick. But I was like, Deadpool has already capitalized on that, you know. But I enjoyed it quite a bit.
And they're not doing it near as much, right? There's like 2 fourth wall breaks in this episode, I think.
Yeah,
and I think limiting themselves to that is actually beneficial for the show. Maybe, but at the same time, maybe that would improve the pace if she talked to us.
This one,
like
this
Zach
one
Morris
had the best one, I think.
I
think this one set the tone when she was like, "No, this isn't that kind of show."
We still got Daredevil coming.
This guy.
We still got Daredevil. Come on.
Oh, it's funny.
Please don't do what they did to King. Please, Lord.
Speaking of Hawaiian shirts and bald heads, Manny, what'd you think about this episode story structure, style wise?
Definitely had the like most DNA of the type of show it wants to be. All the side characters had shit to do and felt good and integrated. Like I would watch a show about those 3 friends running a superhuman law firm division. Like I'd watch that shit, you know. I think that is the strength of this episode. I think that's why this one felt so much better. The Blonsky stuff was fun. Blonsky got to be a guest star on a show that instead of being the draw for the show, the Hulk was the draw of episode 1. They made him the star of episode 1. This one, Blonsky got to be a really, really great guest star. And I felt like I was watching She-Hulk and Friends, right? The fourth wall
Yeah.
breaks, I felt like these ones were the most direct into the audience. I think, and they were limited, like Robbie said, so that made them feel way more impactful.
Right.
So yeah, all in all, total improvement. And I love the fact that A and B plot, both courtroom dramas, because this is a fun lawyer
Yes.
show, as they
Who knew?
so eloquently pointed out in the first episode. They made this a fun lawyer show. So
Yeah.
boom, good shit.
So right now I am rewatching Twin Peaks, right? And I'm, early in season 1. I'm like 5 episodes through. But you mentioned how in episode 3 of She-Hulk, we finally have the idea of who the characters are, the side characters, and how they operate together, right? And how we're going to go with Pug, the paralegal, I can't remember her name right now, the douchebag dentist lawyer or whatever, like the way it's all working together, right? Now, when I was watching, I know that Twin Peaks in its first 3 episodes had more time because Twin Peaks, they were like 45-minute episodes, and the first episode technically is 2 jammed together, right? But I get that. But in just one episode, like 1 hour and a half of Twin Peaks, you didn't just get me into the vibe of just 3 or 4 characters and how the story was going to go. You got me into like 20 characters. So it can be done better. We've seen it done better. Obviously, Twin Peaks had more time, but they had more characters to flesh out. And I'm not trying to compare She-Hulk to Twin Peaks. It's just the most recent TV show that I've been watching. So I'm noticing like how you can do this in a more efficient way and get to the point quicker with more, right? So the fact that it took 3 episodes to get here, however, those 3 episodes, they're like 20, this is basically a sitcom. This is an MCU sitcom, and it's hard to do MCU level shit on that kind of level structurally, right? And it leads me to believe like maybe the first 3 episodes should have been one big one and all of it about the Blonsky case, like building that case, building up Wong and dealing with that. Maybe the whole season should have been about that. We'll see where we go, but structurally it's not the best, and it's really struggling there. And I think it's really hard I think it'd be hard for anybody to kind of do an MCU level show at this kind of sitcom level. And especially with the CG character, like maybe watch some episodes of Alf, see how they dealt with it. Anyway, speaking of Alf, Fable's favorite TV show of all time is Alf, which boggles my mind because I like that show. I like that show. I like that show.
Ended on a cliffhanger.
I am also a cat lover, so I think I don't really like this anti-cat propaganda that we get. But Fable, what did you think about the style story structure?
I thought it was a much better improvement. You guys are right. There's problems with it. The writing, the editing, there's issues there for sure that throw it off or give you those senses that, it's not quite there, or, it's a hot trash like Jelani says. But this episode in particular felt like it should have been episode 1. Because this episode establishes her world around her immediate friends, and what this is going to be about, right? The comedy was not the best, but still much better, more on point, one after the other, good zingers. I had a couple of chuckles in this one. So I probably would have put this one, talking about style and show, I probably would have put this one as episode 1, the Hulk stuff as episode 2, right? Because that's a flashback anyway.
I agree.
Let me show you how I got here. You saw how I got down in the courtroom. Let me show you how I even got to this point. And then, maybe mess with the Blonsky parts of where you're going to put all of that stuff throughout those episodes. But either way, total improvement, style and structure, still not, the best. But if you want to emulate a TV show, we talked about Ally McBeal or flashbacks like Arrow. Hey, Night Court, man. Does anybody remember Night Court?
I love Night Court. Yeah, dude.
Dude, Night Court right here. You got all those characters.
You got all of
it.
John Larroquette.
Yeah, exactly.
Harry. I miss that show. I miss them guys. That was good times.
Hell yeah.
Bull Shannon.
Yeah, Night Court's the shit, man. I used to watch that show. Cheers and Night Court came on in a block, like I think late on CBS, like after David Letterman or some shit like that. So watch that shit all the fucking time, man.
NBC, man.
Back
NBC.
Yeah, but I'm talking about like reruns, like back in the 90s, man.
Oh,
I watched that shit religiously, man.
Yeah.
And then right after that, they would play fucking Three's Company and the Jeffersons, man. That shit was fucking awesome. Anyway, when are we going to be going through, like, when we doing the season 1 Three's Company rewatch? Are we doing that on Playing Fable coming up? Come on, y'all. What are we doing? What are we doing? Is Herm doing that? Is Herm doing the rewatch on Three's Company? That's what I want to see.
Exactly.
What the fuck was that? I thought Manny did some shit.
Manny, why can't you just put up yada 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 yada?
Brooks, story, style, structure. What'd you think?
I like how they're going with the storyline. They did like, an actual courtroom kind of episode, and also I liked the idea of kind of dealing with, how superhuman justice would work, like, you got the Abomination, like he did like, he hurt a lot of people, he did some bad things, but at the same time, he was like, he was told that he was going to be like the next Captain America.
Yeah.
He thought he was going to be a hero, and things just went wrong for him. So like,
but it's his fault, right?
Like,
yeah, that was a good point.
How do we?
That's a good way to lead into like
redeem and like, maybe let him have a regular life, outside of just eternal punishment.
It's a good way to lead into something like Thunderbolts, which let's be honest, they're only going to do as their version of the Suicide Squad.
Yeah, what I imagine with Blonsky is like they're going to be like, okay, you're free to go, and then like a bunch of SHIELD agents are going to like black bag him as soon as he's free and make him a Thunderbolt.
That is going to happen. I bet that's going to be the fucking post credits at the end.
You see the poor 7.
It's going to be goddamn fucking Elaine. Elaine's going to be bagging him and shit. Like we got him, motherfucker. Here's one thing I want to say. This is a big fucking. You think the Hulk sling and the Shang-Chi post credits is bad? Here's one that really bothered me. And I don't normally even pick these things out. Like, I'm not that guy that's like, well, actually, but even though we are sometimes. However, Hulk had the thing on his hand, the inhibitor, to stop him from being the Hulk, right? He told Jennifer he couldn't make another one for her. The solution to the court case is put a power inhibitor on Abomination to stop him from turning into Abomination. What? When has that become an option? And totally Jennifer would go for that option right now.
Yeah,
right?
She would.
So where the fuck did this happen? Power inhibitors are a thing, and it works on gamma.
Was it an inhibitor or a regulator or some shit?
But it prevents him from becoming. That's what Jennifer wanted, and Banner told him. Bruce said straight up, he told her, I can't do another one of those. A-bomb is gamma irradiated fucking monster, but a collar was going to stop that. And if they had such technology, why would they not put that shit on him in his cell?
So he wouldn't change.
I'm just saying, brother. Like, what the fuck is like, where did this technology come from all of a sudden?
Nobody listen, the people that
y'all get what I'm saying though, right? Like
it's because
shows don't do research. They don't look at anything. There's no continuity.
They don't look at the previous episode.
Look. Miss Marvel introduced the idea of mutants. They're fucking running. They're like Forge built that shit. You know what I mean?
Marvel does the same thing.
It's
either Forge or a freaking SHIELD warehouse that somebody stole it from.
Yep.
Maybe someone just took like the inhibitor they used on Thor and Ragnarok. Like maybe one of those found its way to Earth somehow.
Between episodes 1, 2, and then into 3.
Dude, we are willing to believe that the post-credit scene of Shang-fucking-Chi took place 6 months before this fucking episode. I think we can believe that something timey-wimey happened.
That bothered me, man. I was like, wait, that makes no fucking sense, because that would have been her solution in the beginning. Like, put one of these on me. And why would Abomination be in a goddamn, like, when he turns to the Abomination, they all are freaking the fuck out.
Right.
And then they're like, wait, we're going to put a power inhibitor on you. Wait, why haven't you already done that? Like, this dude turns into a fucking monster. Anyway, speaking of turning into a monster, we were very forgiving in the first episode of the She-Hulk CG, right? We're about to get to the special effects, okay? Because we were talking about, well, they already had Banner mapped. That's why he looked better. Here's the thing. She-Hulk looked better in episode 1 compared to 2, and especially compared to 3. This was the worst for me. Here's the other thing. I watched Shang-Chi. I didn't particularly like it, but I thought the CG on Abomination looked great. So they had Tim Roth's face on Abomination. It looked so fucking bad in this episode. Like when he became Abomination, his face, it looked so fucking bad. Even the still that they were showing of him as the Abomination looked fucking terrible. It looked really bad. The CG is just going to get worse, I fear. Like, for real. Because it has progressively gotten worse. This is so bad. The twerking stuff aside, it just looked bad. Like, it didn't look good. I keep feeling like they're with a video game character, man. It keeps pulling me out. I know some people don't like to pick at the CG, but it's part of the show. It's part of what we're doing here. Man, it is fucking bad. It is so fucking bad. Like the Lost polar bear kicks this fucking CG's ass. You know what I'm saying? And that's season 1 Lost CG.
Oh, man, Manny,
like that's like come
Like he was
on.
crushing it too.
Like Manny could do better than this shit,
man,
man.
Manny, I've been saying this since the first episode.
Call this motherfucker. Anyway, Jelani, CG, man. I got a piece, so that's why I'm going to you, man. I know you're gonna go for a while. Go ahead.
Oh well, thanks. Because I am. Basically, I really think they blew their wad in the first episode. It's pretty much all the CGI budget because they got so much backlash from those trailers that they were like, oh my God, we gotta bump it up for this. But even Mandalorian had kind of small issues with CG, but they would fix it from week to week. Like someone was in there like working on it. There was actually a special or something before that they were talking about how they work on that show.
They designed a whole new way of doing background effects for the show.
It's all feedback. It's all green screen. It's all green screen and all this nonsense. Jennifer Walters doesn't look like she's there. She doesn't look like she's there at all. And it's bad because that suit she was wearing this week, it had no definition. It had no lighting. It just felt like she was just, This was the first draft. It felt like that was the first draft right before the stick. You know, they did the stick drawing and then they were like, let's do it this way and then put her face on it. See how that goes. And it's just so terrible on so many levels. And yes, it is a huge part of the show because She-Hulk is the main character. She-Hulk is your base. If you don't have her there, like, or it feels like she's there, then it takes you out of the story. Yeah, it's pretty rough. Absolutely. It makes no sense to have Disney, who's worth billions, sit around, and we're going to talk about it all 9 episodes that we go through. I'm going to talk about how they are a $1 billion company and how you have enough time and resources to A, plan this shit out, and B, plan this shit out. Please make me a story that would enjoy, please, everyone. And this is another thing I want to bring up too in the CGI section. It's a damn shame that Abomination looks as bad as he does. It's a damn shame that the Wrecking Crew looks as weak as they do. It's just
I fucking love the Wrecking Crew, man. I was kind of pissed at first, man. I'll be honest, man. I was kind of pissed at first. Then I was like, who gives a fuck about the Wrecking Crew, dude? That dude with the fucking hair, the main dude with the crowbar, and he's like, dude, if you watch it again, he's ready to swing man.
What I'm saying is this. You couldn't get one big dude for your Wrecking Crew, you know what I'm saying? Hopefully later they'll get bigger or some stupid shit. But it's just so much work that they're doing that they don't have to. This show, honestly, if you read John Byrne, who does it better, this show should be effortless. And
what if John Byrne did an Ally McBeal graphic novel?
If there was something,
hey, remember Callisto Flockhart, right? That's her name, right?
Yeah.
She was the best part of Supergirl. She was the best part of Supergirl. When she left, Supergirl went.
It was trash.
Boom. It was already not that good, but she was really good at it. She should be in this show.
But listen, I'm gonna keep watching it. But
she should be the boss of the law firm.
Yeah, Calista Flockhart.
On she should be playing that fucking dude that's like, send him to Minnesota because he hates the cold and spam. Tell him that.
Tell him that. But
she would kill the fuck out of that role, man.
It's something about it's video game art. It's pretty much like I said before. She's just not there. It's just not a cohesive character that's in the story. It doesn't make me feel like I want to be a part of it. And this is the thing I was getting back to. Everybody's saying that this show is not for me, or some levels. This may not be for you. And I was saying yesterday to you guys, it absolutely is made for me because it's in this universe. And if I don't watch this, like if I didn't watch WandaVision, I had to watch Multiverse of Madness. If I miss She-Hulk, at least I'm gonna miss something that I needed to know in a movie that's going forward now. Because apparently this shit now is a required reading. And that irritates me on lots of levels. If you're gonna do this, make it epic, make it look good, make me want to be there. Because Hulk, even though he's not the best CGI in this show, they at least have the template for what he's supposed to look like, the mannerisms and everything. Jennifer, at least y'all, this should have been a year ago. This all should have been sorted out a year ago. I don't know when they made this or they rushed it out.
And one thing I do want to point out here is obviously we touched on this last week, but it's come out from several people, several sources, that people that work on the CG for Disney and Marvel Studios, they say that they are overworked, underpaid, and that they are constantly being fed revisions over and over and over. Like, oh no, we want it this way. No, we want it this way. Like, so we're not criticizing the artist.
No.
Because we do think, like last week, I think it was Wu-Tang was saying that's the industry Wu-Tang's part of, right? Mm-hmm. Where like
it's the quality
there are
control.
people that they would kill it, but it's like it's the studio, it's the fucking man, you know, it's them, you know, like the fucking boss always expecting too much for too little. Yeah, right. This is an anti-authority rant, but at the same time, what we're criticizing is Marvel, Disney. Y'all have the most resources. You're able to throw over billions of dollars for Star Wars, for Marvel. You have the resources. They're not doing it. Why? Because they're greedy. They're greedy.
It's the same reason why they give us Charmin toilet paper for comic book covers.
Oh my God.
It's the same reason why I gotta read JR drawing Amazing Spider-Man, making everybody look like the singer from Hoobastank with their eyes too fucking wide apart. It's the same shit. Anyway,
that's why I'm so excited for Frank Miller Presents, because Dan DiDio and Frank Miller are trying to make comics the way they should be again. And I am told the colors bleed good on them. Colorists are saying they have to relearn how to color comics because they're going back to the way it's supposed to be done, as opposed to the way that they're doing it today. The
watercolors?
No, but with like, I don't know, color theory, like with the idea that there's a foreground, a midground, and a background, and there's different color values that are associated with that. Things to make the image pop better, because comics should always be kind of pop art at some point in some kind of fashion, right? But doing paper stock that's going to absorb those colors very well and smell good. Even Vault comics don't smell like they used to. Speaking of smelling like they used to, Steph, what did you think about the CG, man?
Got some weird fetishes, dude.
I'm right there with you guys. I'm not a stickler for that, but I caught myself thinking, I was like, man, she just does not have a distinct look like Ruffalo did in the first episode. And then the Blonsky stuff bothered me. Then by the end, the after credit scene with her twerking, I was just like, yeah, waste of money. That scene you animated or spent the money on of her twerking could have gone, the time and energy, money could have gone to making her CGI in the overall episode looks that much better. But they decided to give us a twerking Easter egg that no one wanted.
Yeah,
it's not the biggest deal in the world, but when your animation or CGI is lacking like that, and you throw away this throwaway scene that adds absolutely nothing, that's time, energy, resources that could have
you wasted
gone to just could have been wasted, making the overall product better.
And it looks terrible.
How many fucking animators spent how many hours and how many dollars doing that instead of making episode 3 look better? Like
exactly.
With her walking through a fucking office. I don't know, like making the clothes look real. Oh, they can't do it. They can't make Moon Knight they can't make the cape look real.
Making the clothes look real.
Anyway, Don't you hate it when you're trying to block somebody and then like they add 8 more comments, so then you actually highlight their comment real quick? That's the worst.
Wait a minute, I'm gay, bro. What?
Manny, what'd you think about CG, bro? I know we've already touched on it, but let's continue this.
I guess I lucked out because I didn't see this twerking scene you guys are talking about. In Robbie's defense, I thought Megan Thee Stallion was the name of a Nicki Minaj song. Like I had no fucking clue this was like a person.
You thought a song was called featuring Megan Thee Stallion.
Dude, Nicki Minaj has like all kinds of different personalities and shit, right? So I was like, I thought Megan Thee Stallion was just Nicki Minaj to sell more albums. But that being said, the CGI was. I'm trying not to get too pissed off, right? Because I just don't want to. I just don't want to be that fucking guy, all right? But
okay.
The truth is,
you look like Oz.
Hey, Lou,
the truth is that
looks almost as good as She-Hulk.
Disney has the means. I think what makes it look better and why the Mandalorian looks better is because most of the motherfuckers are practical and then they use CG to augment. If they got a bodybuilder chick to be the body double for these scenes and then just did mocap and facial capture on Maslany,
they do. That's the thing.
Would have been better.
They have like a 7. They have a real actress. She's like 7 foot tall but yeah.
Oh, well, then really fuck this shit. All right.
Yeah.
Goodness gracious. Oh, all right.
Manny, I really love that.
I really do look like guys that live in the trailer park down the street, just green. Like I know a dude looked just like this.
I think some dude tried to sell me comics a couple weeks ago. Looked like that.
You know,
Jesus, these bots tonight. What did we do tonight? Anyway.
We're talking about this show, man.
Fable, what do you think about the CG?
Oh, it's terrible, man. This stuff is crazy. I can't even say. I can't add more to it than we trashed it enough. It's terrible. I mean, the material works are horrible. She's supposed to have this business suit that doesn't fit, by the way.
Yeah.
I mean, I mean,
in
I know
either
we're
persona.
You know, maybe we're trying to not have her too sexy because you don't want to have her too form fitting in that suit. Maybe that's the thought process by having it all loose. But their material work sucks.
She's a damn
horrible. And that's why when she's twerking, it looks terrible because you don't really see her buns. You see her.
You just see
weird
flopping. Yeah,
flopping. It's awful.
Yeah.
It's awful. It's quite
but
terrible.
yeah, man, I'm not gonna say much more. It's terrible.
Yeah,
it's all right. It's more horrible now than before.
Yeah,
and Jelani, you're right. Well, I don't know why they went back. We know why they went back to the first episode, but shit, if you're gonna run these guys to the floor, run them for the whole 9, man. Get your money's worth.
Yep.
Marvel, you guys are already cool, all right? You have nothing to prove. I felt like that's what that twerking scene was. Them trying to prove, hey, we're hip. We got it.
We're what the young kids like. Yeah.
They were like, "Oh, you didn't think Miss Marvel resonated with kids? What about She-Hulk?" I don't know.
This is about to be a meme.
It's always great
to see it coming. I cannot wait for the meme for this. I'm absolutely going to put every meme I can find.
I was looking for a gift, man. I was looking for a gift, and I know that by next week I'll have a gift ready, and so whenever we reference it, I can throw it up, and Jelani won't have to act it out anymore. So we can all be grateful for that. Another thing we can all be grateful for.
I'm surprised Jelani's sticking around because I know Jelani does not like if he don't like the look of something, he won't watch it. Like fucking Clone Wars.
Lost,
all right, like
Lost ruined me.
No way.
Game of Thrones ruined me, and House of Dragon got me back. But it's just if I see like 2
I just love hearing people that got so hurt over Game of Thrones talking about how much they love House of the Dragon. I love it. I love it right now. I love it. I hope that show fucks you too. That's what I'm saying.
It will.
No, I'm watching it too, man. 2 episodes in, I'm loving it, man. In fact, House of the Dragon is the show I think we should be talking about tonight, but we're talking about She-Hulk twerking with Megan Thee Stallion. However, CG is not heavily criticized by Brooks, so it's always nice to kind of have a refresher with Brooks. Brooks, what did you think about the CG in this episode?
I didn't notice it really, but if people are saying, if so many people are saying how bad it is, like, I mean, I can take your word for it that, you know, it's probably not great. You're not just like, you know,
You saw
just not
Endgame,
shitting on it
right?
for the sake of it.
Okay.
So, I mean, like, obviously, if that's the case, like, they need to step up their game on it, you know?
Yeah.
And, I mean, you can start by, like, you know, hiring more people to work on it and paying them better and not, like, making them crunch and stuff, you know?
What a fucking crazy idea.
Or not last minute twerk scenes that add nothing to the
Oh,
overall
sorry.
I bet they added that shit in
We're
as
getting ideas from Dreamland here.
I bet
Megan
that-
Thee Stallion isn't even a superhuman. Why is she signing a
We don't know
contract
that.
with
She could be a
Jennifer
mutant.
Walters?
Yeah,
No.
you're right about that. Actually,
Why did she sign anything with
Yeah, I
Jennifer?
was
gonna
wondering that
say it,
myself.
but I was gonna leave it alone
Yeah.
for a while because everybody's like, "Oh, he's hating her."
that might be a
Should have
bigger
been
plot hole
Dazzler.
than- That
Why
might
was
be a
she
bigger
there?
plot hole than the power inhibitor.
Why is she there? I know.
Or Lila Cheney. There's someone you could easily fit in. People don't know about her. She's not out there as a mutant.
Yeah.
That's a deep dive, brother.
We
Yeah,
could've done
yeah. Sorry,
anything
I had to
about
catch myself. I was gonna start going. I like that.
What is going on tonight?
Okay.
All
I
right.
bumped the key on my soundboard. My bad.
Well, now you know how to make audio work. All right, time to Two Gun. I think Brooks is just smoking the real good shit before he watches She-Hulk. I don't know, man. I've been to Brooks's place. It's a hazy fucking hobbit hole looking place. It really is, honestly.
I like
And,
your house, Brooks.
just
I
kidding,
was
man.
there yesterday.
I haven't
had
been to
fun.
Brooks's place in probably 10 years, man, to be honest with you, man. Maybe it does look like a hobbit hole now. Is everything grown up on it?
Not yet, no.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
You keep working on it. All right. Legit question though. Marvel already has us. Is this made for the many basic non-comics that would find twerking She-Hulk? I don't know if anybody would think this is funny. So far, I don't think any. I have not seen anybody reference this in a positive way.
That's exactly the point I was gonna make. I just like you talk about paper quality with Marvel, why it looks so horrible is because you know they have us already, right? So I think they know they have the 20 to 35-year-olds in the MCU as far as they're concerned. So
that's who they're supposed to be for.
I think they're
trying to get
totally aiming at the outside, the women who may not read comic books and stuff, because a woman would definitely, especially a young woman, would definitely know who Meg Thee Stallion is.
They would get a rise out of the twerking.
And when she twerked,
honest to God,
hey,
I got a
know
text
what I
earlier
mean?
from a lady friend that said, "I'm mad that I like She-Hulk," and this was after. So I'm assuming she saw the little twerking scene, but you know it's so still it's dating the series. You are getting that small. I get it.
Fucking lowbrow.
I can't say I like it.
Yeah.
We're almost done, kids. The second they show the mutants,
I don't know if we can go another 20, to be honest with you, but we're about to get to ratings. We can probably go at least another 8 to 10 probably here. I'll end it with the Horror Fest trailer too, just to help you out a little bit. Anyway, what the fuck? Bingo. What is up, everybody? Thank you all for being here tonight. It's time to rate this episode. Jelani out of 5 possible, you digs, and you out there in the chat. If you watched this episode, The People versus Emil Blonsky, not Amal Blonsky. What did you think? Jelani out of 5, you digs, what did you give it?
It's better than the last two, but this is what I'll have to do. I have to, I for the first episode, I gave it a 3. I need to give that a 2.5. I just have to redact that and make it a 2.5 because this is the 3. Because this is the one that actually is the show that I assumed it was going to be. It finally told the story that I thought it was going to tell right here, but this should have been the first episode. So I'm going to go back and say that this is a 3 and take that, get that 2.5 and the 2.5 for the last 2 weeks. That's what they're going to be. They're pretty much in the same category, but this one raised my expectations a little better. I would have given it 3.5, but that damn twerking scene happened, and that ruined almost damn near all of it. I was like, I was on board. I was like, this is pretty decent. This is pretty decent. And then they did this shit at the end. I'm like, why? You know, and we've gone over it, but it would have been a 3.5. But Megan Thee Stallion, she bad though. She get it. But right now, Jennifer Walters can't get it because she can't twerk. She ain't got no booty.
She doesn't even look like she's there.
You don't even look like she do it.
She could twerk
Like they
in the
tried to
courtroom.
give her a butt cheek on the left side, and I was like, "Oh, that's not it. No,
Jesus.
they can't be doing all that."
All right. Yeah,
I'm sorry.
you're
Yada
right,
yada
though.
yada yada yada.
Steph just kind of got it.
yada,
Like
yada, yada,
she doesn't
yada,
feel like
yada,
she's
yada.
a part of the environment. Like when we see the CG, like not just in the twerking scene, but
Oh, it's
Steph, what
terrible.
did you think out of 5 you dig? What do you give it?
I'm gonna change just my scores like a Jelani. I think I gave the first episode a 4 or 5. I'm gonna give that a 4. Last week's episode was 3.5 for me. I'll go 3. It was a 3, and this week was a 4 or 5 for me. Regardless of the CGI, which I think was the only gripe, it was fun and entertaining. You know, I liked the plots, the subplots, how they connect, the bridge the two. Everyone, you know, was on point. Acting wise, the characters, like you said, they finally found what we were expecting. Some people were expecting the first episode. So I really enjoyed this episode, regardless of the shiny CGI. So 4 or 5.
All right. All right. What about you, Manny?
I'm gonna go 3. 3. Yeah, 3. 3 for sure.
All right. All right. What about you, Fable? Manny's exhausted himself with all these bits tonight.
I don't understand. Why is he asking me?
I don't know. I had a whole bunch of other stuff, but I'm looking through filters now, and I'm like, yeah, maybe I want to go that one. Fuck. I didn't even think about the question. Yep, a 3. A 3. Yeah.
What about you, Fable?
Last week I was questioning whether this show was for me, and I still don't think this show is for me. Still
It's
with
supposed to
Megan,
be.
it is.
Sorry.
It is. But you know, whatever their goal is, whatever their creation they want it to be, I think I finally got the gist of it today, especially because of the Meg Thee Stallion stuff. I was like, okay, they're going for another demo. They're completely going outside of us, you know. And they did it with Miss Marvel too. They try to, you know, go the completely other way. And you can tell because of the crew, right? Most of the cast and crew in this one, right? It's a female lead writers and stuff like that. And they're trying to, you know, put that out there, go in that direction. So for that, I think they did the best they could do with this episode. It was enjoyable, like you guys say. So I'm gonna go 4 backlogs on this one.
Oh wow, 4.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
Gee.
Wow. Okay.
Oh wow.
Oh wow. What about you, Brooks?
I give it 4 too. I thought this episode was like on the right track. And like I actually thought about this, like a thing that I would have done to have made the in post credits joke a little funnier was I would have had like her twerking. She's twerking, and then like you see the building collapse around them, and then like it shows her like
She twerks the fucking building.
yeah.
Yeah.
Then,
Thunderclaps from the.
She kills like
Right.
goddamn 1,000 fucking people. That's what you want in the twerking after credits.
She did
Now I want
the
one.
clap. This clap in the first episode. It would have been another clap.
You get an ass clap that knocks out the
Ass
window.
clap.
Meg flies out the fucking office.
Yeah, she kills fucking what's her name?
Oh, that would have been golden.
Yeah.
Oh my
Oh
God.
yeah, Brooks, man. Maybe we need to get Brooks in the writing room on one of these Marvel shows, man.
Totally.
For me, I'm going 3 because Jelani kind of stole my thunder because that's exactly what I thought this morning was. I would give this a 3.5, but that scene at the very fucking
At
end
the end.
fucked it for me, man. And if I did it like Manny, I'd been like 3.5.
They
But
almost had it. They
I
almost had it.
watched. I knew that this was the show that would have a post-credit scene every fucking episode. And I watched it and I was like, are you fucking serious? Is that going to be riveting 20 years from now? Like, I'm still watching fucking Lost. I don't care what anybody fucking says. I love that goddamn
What
show.
about 20 years from now, dude?
All right, so but with the after credit thing, are we gonna, since like some of the after credit movie scenes for Marvel movies are like scenes from those movies, like an Ant-Man, the after credit scene was a scene from Civil War. Is that scene shit because it wasn't its own thing?
No.
You know, does that
because
take away from the overall enjoyment of Ant-Man?
Ant-Man 2
Yeah.
made up for it with the fucking giant ant playing the drums. That's all I'm saying. Okay.
It's still worse.
No, it's just like I don't know. Like if you took that out, I would give this episode a 3.5. But that is there, bro.
It was there.
I feel that.
It was like
yeah.
worth it.
And that's and it's so there and it's so prevalent. That's going to be the one thing everybody remembers from this fucking episode.
Yep.
So you
that's the
probably
meme or the
this
gift.
show.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We're not going to be
Probably
talking about
show.
Wong. We're not going to be talking about fucking Kumite and fucking
She-Hulk
Abomination.
and Meg Thee Stallion twerking together.
Yeah, they tried to do
Yeah.
their own
It's all
version of
good.
the
It's
horny
not
time
my
horseshoe, and it didn't
Hey,
quite
listen,
work. for me. I don't know.
shout out to Meg Thee Stallion's team. They got her placed on that show. She's
Yo,
about
that's
to
a
sell
good
couple
business
of
move.
albums
Oh yeah.
after tonight.
I
got
had just
that- she got
seen
that chick.
on Instagram, Reggie Collects has been doing, those little Instagram things where he like talks about news and shit. And we're trying Cardstock to go 20 minutes, but it's not going to happen. But he was the first thing. He goes, Megan Thee Stallion. And I was like, who the fuck's Megan? I don't understand what this is.
The
Right?
Weekend.
And then I watched this show and I was like, this is what he was talking about. All right. So I understood where we were, right? I understood that this was a pop star. And if you didn't know, Jennifer Walters explains it for you. But the twerking thing, that was just like,
But Robbie, you never watched the old episode of The Love Boat and this superstar from the 70s comes on? You're like, who's this guy? And everybody's treating him like a big
I get
deal.
it. So this may be like the best episode of Three's Company in 20 years' time. I don't know. This might be, and maybe somebody's going to be talking about it, right? The next generation of the PCP Excitable Crew and the Bad Batch, like they're going to be talking about it. Y'all's kids are going to be talking about this fucking shit, right? Yeah, there you go. So anyway, but 3 for me. I'll go 3 overall. But this was my favorite episode.
That's enjoyable.
And I'm not going to
Yeah.
retroactively knock down any of my previous scores.
Oh no, I'll
Because
take it.
those
back.
were
okay.
of the time. Those were
No.
of the time.
You have to adjust. If I give first episode 4.5, but I enjoyed this episode more, I can't give them both 4.5.
Yeah.
Maybe
I'm about to give this-
4.69.
Yeah, that's all right. You are always welcome for a 0.69. So what's coming up here? Well, first of all, Horror Fest is coming, y'all. We're 2 sleeps
It's a stacked
away.
list.
Yeah.
It is such a great list this year. I already got the remake of Nightmare on Elm Street out of the fucking way.
Yo, my first time seeing Life Force, that was a really, really good movie.
Are you gonna be on the show?
Yeah, huh? Yeah, I'll do that one. I'm gonna do that one because I
Yes!
really like that movie. That was a
Jelani
I'm doing
is
that
like,
one.
this is the one movie.
that's
And y'all can guess why. But no, it's a great movie to start with. So yeah, we are kicking off Horror Fest 2022 at Dylan's Horror Show Saturday night with Life Force. And then Sunday, we're doing Rockin Robbie Live is returning after a 2-week hiatus. Super excited to come back because the movie review is the John Carpenter horror classic Elvis.
Ooh.
Yeah, it didn't
Not
quite
seen
work
that
out
one.
with the timing. However, y'all, that movie's really fucking good. And then Monday night, PCP movie night, the Scream franchise. It's going to be me, Jelani, Brooks, Hammer Time Horseshoe, or Hammer Time Horseshoe,
40 time
Horny
horse.
time.
40 Time Horseshoe,
Horny time.
whatever you want to call him. He's
Horseshoe.
going to be there. Manny's going to be there. And I'm still 50-50 on whether or not Dylan's going to be there. He's going to be like, bro, I'm sorry. And I was like, and I told this motherfucker, I was like, I got people that want to be on, like Mark wanted to be on this episode so bad. And I'm like, Dylan, if you're not fucking there, Mark's going to hate you forever. Anyway, so that's what's going on. And we're going to leave you with that. So real quick, thank you for being here, everybody in the chat, on the panel. Jelani, final thoughts?
We're still watching this show, so watch us talk about this show, and we're gonna enjoy it as best as we can. Yeah, America.
Steph, final thoughts?
Yada 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 yada.
Key for twerking.
Manny, final thoughts?
Keep your stick on the ice.
Huh? Is that from The Cutting Edge? What is that?
Keep your stick on the ice.
Oh my God.
All right. Is that better? Is that better?
Fable Brooks, I'm sorry. We can't top that. So we're just gonna dip out. Here's the Horror Fest track teaser. We'll see y'all soon, man.